Linus Tech Tips coverage of CES 2015 is brought to you by Phantom Glass. Visit store.phantom.glass for the best darn screen protectors out there, as well as HyperX. Now, lucky me, this isn't the first time that I've had an opportunity to check out a 5K display, but this is the first time that I've been able to do it on a display that'll work on a PC. So this is the Dell UP2715K 5K monitor. It has 5,120 pixels this way, 2,880 pixels this way for 4 times the total pixel count of a 2560 by 1440 display. Yeah, this thing is crazy sharp. That's about 14 megapixels, 60 times per second. So let's start with a general physical overview. On the front, it's a 27-inch monitor, so you're going to have that, I guess. There's also a glass bezel around it, so it's an edgeless bezel design. Personally, I really do like this particular style. The stand itself, it's not a crazy thin monitor or anything like that, but it's not bulky by any stretch of the imagination. The stand is a nice sort of sandblasted anodized aluminum design. It's got a Dell logo on the back, a Kensington lock, and then there's the I/O, and that's where things get a little bit tricky, because you might be thinking to yourself, well, Linus, hold on a second, what do you mean 5K? I mean, what's a 5K? Does my graphics card support 5K? The answer is no, probably not, at least not on one output. So on the bottom of this monitor, you're going to find a USB 3 hub, so that's 1 input and 4 outputs. Then you're going to find a full-size display port, and then you're going to find another one right next to it, and those two have lines around them that say, oh, okay, this is for 5K by 3K. That is how they do it. 2 DisplayPort inputs in order to drive this entire monitor. There's also a mini DisplayPort in back there, but that one only supports up to 4K max, so you're going to have to deal with interpolation. Now, this thing is not cheap. It's over $2,000, but at least it comes with the kinds of professional grade, quality and features that you'd expect from a monitor of that caliber. So it's an IPS panel. It's got a 10-bit panel, so that's a billion colors, featuring a 12-bit lookup table, so you're going to be able to work with broad gamut content if you want to. It supports 99% of Adobe RGB. It's got support for advanced calibration features with an X-Rite color calibrator, and it even comes with a report in the box certifying its Delta E less than 2 calibration, so you shouldn't even really need to do anything unless you have your own personal needs that are a little different from what you might get out of factory calibration. I'm not really sure how much else there is to really say about it, other than that it looks absolutely stunning from the front, from the back. So why don't we move on to this little tiny box next to it that is actually powering it. So this is Intel's Broadwell-based NUC. So that's their little, next unit of computing thing, computers that fit in your hands. And I just thought this was cool because this demo right here, where we're zooming around and panning around on New York City, is actually being powered by this machine, and thanks to its dual mini DisplayPort outputs, it is able to drive a 5K display, something that we wouldn't have imagined possible only a couple short years ago. I think there's a couple little things on my cheat sheet here that I missed. So the rated contrast ratio is 1,000 to 1, which is pretty typical for a static contrast ratio on a very solid display. The pixels per inch is 218, just in case you don't want to do the math yourself. It's got 8 millisecond gray-to-gray response time rating, so you may actually be able to game on it half decently, assuming you have the graphics horsepower in order to drive this kind of a resolution, and reality check, you don't. So that's hopefully coming in the future. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Absolutely beautiful, but there is a price to pay. And at its current pricing, I'm not sure how many people it's going to make sense for, especially given the pricing of the iMac 5K Retina that also includes a computer built into it. But of course, there's plenty of time for Dell to get more competitive and for all this technology to get more competitive. And I'm very excited for the future of high resolution displays. Speaking of displays, I'd like to do a shout out for our sponsor here at the show, Phantom Glass. These guys make great protectors for your displays, the ones on your phones, not the ones on your desks, although that could potentially come in the future. They're made of Gorilla Glass, so they're extremely scratch resistant, extremely clear, and they have that same oleophobic and nice touch finish on the top of them. They're basically impossible to get bubbles stuck under, so they look exactly like the surface of your actual phone, and they're available at store.phantom.glass, linked in the video video description. I also want to give a shout out to HyperX. Their YouTube channel has tons of great gaming content. You guys are definitely going to want to check that out, and they are a huge part of the reason that we are able to be here as well. Guys, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our CES content or anything else ever again, and I think that pretty much wraps it up. We'll see you at the next crazy booth here at CES 2015.